and welcome to another Conversations to Inspire. Today I'll be talking to Mani, who makes vegan chocolate. Enjoy! Hi Mani, thank you for being
Hello.
on my interview.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So could you tell me a little bit about yourself, please?
Okay, so I live in London, in Stanmore, and with my husband. So there's the two of us. And what can I tell you? So I currently have just launched a business. We're in our 7th month. It is a vegan chocolate brand called the Veda Soul Company. And we launched that last October. And I'm also doing therapy, so still doing my coaching practice on the side and trying to run the brand at the same time. But yeah, that's after giving up 22 years in the city.
So have you always wanted to make chocolate, or was it just an idea you suddenly had?
I I've been making now for about 4 or 5 years after I went on a detox and then decided that I wanted to kind of, I liked the way that it made me feel and I wanted to give up refined sugar. And so then trying to find something that would give me a chocolate fix while still kind of maintaining what I wanted to maintain from a dietary perspective. And then Ash being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, that kind of led us on a bit of a path to create something at home that we could enjoy. And that's how it started. And then as we shared it with family and friends, the feedback that came back and some requests for people who wanted to purchase it for gifts, etc. Initially when people were sort of commenting in that way, we were, that was nice to hear, but we had no intention of setting it up as a business. But then I think as time went on, we thought, well, actually, why aren't we? Because we wanted to try something different. We wanted to kind of come away from the nine to I was going to say 9 to 5, but it wasn't 9 to 5 jobs at all. We wanted to come away from the corporate kind of world and do something where we could really kind of plow our passion into.
How long does it take to make the chocolate?
So quite a long time. So let's start. So first of all, you have to kind of blend all the ingredients together. So that takes about, so you kind of melt them and we keep them below a 42.2 degrees temperature so that we can try and keep in as much of the goodness as possible. So that melting, we normally make them in batches of about 3 kilos because of the capacity of our equipment. So that takes probably about 2 hours for it to melt and blend really well. And then it's stone ground. All of that mixture then is stone ground for 36 hours, just so that the cacao paste, the sugar and the coconut sugar and the cacao butter get to really blend and go to a really fine micron, so you get that smooth taste in your mouth. And then after that, once that chocolate's ready, then it sets and it ages. So we let it age for a while, but then the aged chocolate is then tempered. Tempering means you kind of increase it up to 42 degrees and then slowly reduce it back down and then slowly reduce it a little bit up. And what that does is, because of that kind of that slow gradual process and it's continually mixing while it's doing this, what it does is it forms crystals in the chocolate that allow it to form properly. It has the gloss, it has the shine, and then when you bite into it, you get that smooth consistency. Otherwise, what happens is you get little nodules because the solid bits kind of go together and then the liquid bits go together and you don't get like a smooth kind of texture. So you have to temper it in order for it to become, to have the snap and not be kind of pasty in your hands.
Why do you think that people love chocolate so much?
Ooh, I don't know. I think memories. I think memories are associated with food, and I think chocolate. People associate memories of chocolate with childhood, or when they were being rewarded, or happy times, say Christmas and Easter, or when they're together with their family and their friends, and sort of, I think those are the connotations people put together in their head. But also, chocolate does contain, chemically, it contains compounds, theobromine being one of them, and flavonoids, etc., which have a serotonin boosting kind of impact. So they do make you happy. these chemicals. Yeah.
Do you people prefer white chocolate or dark chocolate?
It's very much a preference, but I think dark chocolate is becoming more and more popular nowadays. A, because people understand the health benefits of it, and also, yeah, I mean, white chocolate is it's difficult for us to make white chocolate because when we because we use coconut sugar and not refined sugar. Our coconut chocolate, our sort of milk chocolate, white chocolate isn't really white. It turns out to be a little bit what we call blonde because our chocolate, our coconut sugar is kind of like a caramelly color. It's not like a pure white color that you get with normal chocolate. So white chocolate is popular, but we find that dark chocolate is more popular, and also as a vegan offering, because that's one of the things that we're looking at. Dark chocolate is obviously the best kind of option for a vegan, so we're not having to mix in. We can mix in to give it a kind of a milkier kind of texture and taste. We can mix in coconut cream and cashews, etc. But what we're trying to do is keep it really, really pure. So dark chocolate is popular.
What flavors do you like to add to the chocolate?
So we have a number of flavors, so that range from rose and cardamom, lavender and goji berry. We have lemongrass and chili, which is one that we're currently working on. We have the favourites like coconut. We also have another one that we're currently working on, which is hazelnut, and some berries. So what we try to do is include kind of superfoods in the chocolate so that they're good for you at the same time and they're nourishing, and it's a nicer way to eat certain things. Chia seeds and Brazil nuts, various different flavors. Mandarin and ginger is another one we're working on. Yeah.
If you could give a message to the world, what would it be?
Okay, that's a big question, Annabelle. My message to the world would be connect to what makes you happy, what you feel passionate about, and align what you do to that, so that you can really deliver the best of you in every moment and be happy while you're doing it. Because I think more and more now that people are becoming aware, if you are happy in what you do, then that translates into the way you live your life. And what I understand about energy is if you're happy, then you emanate that happiness around you, and you impact other people around you. So really it's you're changing the world, really, just by being connected to who you are, being passionate about what you do, and engaging in that passion. Because if you're miserable all the time and you're doing something that doesn't bring you any joy and you're not enjoying it, then you're not living your full potential. B, you're not going to be happy, you're going to be miserable, and that's going to impact on the world around you. And life's too short not to do what you really, really want to do. And then I have inspirations like yourselves that remind me every day that, when you have a dream, live it. And even though you have fears that it won't work out, somehow it will work out. And you guys are an inspiration to me for that.
If you became the queen of the world, what would be the first thing that you would do?
I'm sorry, if I became the
queen of the world, what would be the first thing that you would do?
Oh, wow. So if I became the queen of the world, the first thing I would do would be to put in rules that allow people, put in structures, shall I say, that allow people to really embrace who they are and live the life that they want to live. Empower them, not hand out and make people kind of feel like charity cases. But everybody should, nobody should go hungry, nobody should be hurting, everything should be equal on that front. And to empower that change, so help the people, empower people that do have to help people that don't, and for us to kind of share as a world. Because if we are happy together, then we make a much happier place and a happier world.
Mm-hmm. If you could meet anyone of past, present, future, fictional, whoever, who would you like to meet and why?
Wow, these questions are challenging me. Who would I like to meet? Hmm. I can't really think of any one person. There are lots of people that I would love to meet. If I was to take a genre of person, then just people that have made a difference by being who they are and really living a life that kind of inspires others, and for them to be able to teach that, because often people make it into history after they've gone, and if some of those people, there are some great inspirations that are, you know, that you look back on now and they're great figures in history, if they could kind of come and almost be here as living examples and training people and helping people to live a better way, then I think that would be amazing. And there are loads of examples.
Yeah, like I wish these people were so famous when they were alive, so
Yes,
like meet them.
exactly, yes.
Whereas people are famous after they've gone, so you can't beat them.
you, yeah, and they didn't get to really realize how amazing they were. I mean, how many authors do you know that become so famous after they went, and you think, oh, I wish they knew how amazing they were. Yeah.
Yeah. So who inspires you and why? I think that's kind of the same question.
People that inspire me are people that have a great um, influential power in the world, and that are using it for the betterment of humanity. So, you know, there are a lot of light workers in the world that are doing great work, you know, and they're using their power and their influence in a really, really positive way to really make a change. So they're like the Oprahs of this world. There are people that are, you know, so many people. I mean, you look at people like Bill Gates and his wife Melinda. They are, you know, yes, they're powerful people, but they're using it in a way that can really give back to humanity and make a difference. And those are the people that inspire me, because they're not just, you know, while they're enjoying what they're doing, that's great, and they're enjoying their life, and they should. Every life is, you know, lived to be enjoyed, but they're making a difference, and they're not forgetting about those that don't have, and those people are an inspiration to me. And I think, you know, they're the way, you know, they're leading the light that helps us to change this world.
What would be your perfect day?
My perfect day is a day where I'm just doing what I enjoy, with all the people that I love, and just going with the flow, really. I used to, as I get older, um, I don't know if it's as I get older or whether it's as you become sort of more and more connected to yourself, you learn that um, not planning and having a day that's spontaneous and just full of good moments, individual moments, not necessarily, right, I have to achieve this by the end of the day. They're the best days because you're living them in the present. You're not kind of worrying about whether they're going to work out in a certain way or not, or you're not worried about, oh, that didn't quite work out how it was meant to. You're just kind of enjoying every moment for what it is. So those are my best days.
What's one thing that you love doing?
I love reading. Um, I love reading. I love singing. It's not something that I've done a lot of, but it's something I'm starting to do a lot more of. And I love being in nature. Yeah.
What could you spend all day talking about?
One of the things that's really important to me is talking about journeys, because I think, you know, when we share our journeys with each other, we can learn so much from each other. So there isn't one thing that I'd particularly like to talk about myself, but it's just having a group of people that you can just talk to. Sometimes they can be complete strangers. They don't have to be friends that you know. But just, yeah, just how much you can learn from each other, talking about people's journeys. And you're probably finding that a lot on your travels as well, how much you're learning from just random people that you just met, that have lived very different lives from the lives that you're living, but how much you learn from each other. And so whilst I could talk about my journey, but I also want to sort of learn about other people's journeys, because you can, it just expands your mind in a way that a book or watching a movie or doing those things can't.
Do you love change? Because I think some people like change and some people don't really like change. So what do you think about change? Big change, small change, but what do you...
That's a good question. I think we're not very good at change as humans. We struggle with it, but I think and for me personally, do I like change? Depends what that change is, really. But I'm definitely getting better and better at handling it, and just recognizing that there's always a bigger picture in play that's allowing something greater than what we can see in this moment happen. So it's about embracing change. And I think the more you learn to embrace change, the happier life you can have, because life's always going to throw curveballs. And it's about learning how to embrace that change that makes us better at living our lives, I think. So yeah, I'm learning to like change, all types of change.
For me, I think I kind of like it in the middle. I don't like huge changes, because my head gets confused.
Mm.
And I want the old thing back, not because I necessarily like the old thing, but because it was comfortable.
Right.
I knew what it was going to be like every day, and but some changes. Oh, excuse me. Some changes I like, but I think not too big changes. I think I like smaller changes for me.
Yeah. Well, you've had quite a lot of changes, haven't you, recently?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's quite hard also, I think, while traveling, changing from place to place.
Yes, just as you're getting used to somewhere, you're moving on again.
And then you kind of have to adapt to a whole new, like, people speaking another language, or even just the food being different, where you're used to spicy food or you're used to not having spicy foods. So
yeah, there's a lot of change, but I guess you're learning as well, right? That the more you kind of adapt to that change, the happier you are, because you could sit there resisting it. Why don't you get that in this country? Or I don't like that you can't buy this. But then if you get, like you say, if you hold on to that, what you can't have, then you miss what you can have, because every place, it might not have one thing, but it will have lots of other things that are really beautiful. So yeah. So again, it's just embracing that change, so you can learn to appreciate the great things that happen because of change, rather than just, crying about the things that you've missed or you've lost. But yeah, phenomenal.
So who would you like to see me interview next?
Oh,
It could be anyone.
I'd like you to interview someone from your locality, someone who someone who's lived their life very differently from the norms that we've seen life lived in from a Western perspective, and just show how different that life is, and just that whole outlook. I think that would be really inspiring for all of us here, because we all do get kind of tunnel visioned into living our lives a certain way, and it just becomes a norm, doesn't it? It's only when you step away that you think, oh God, why didn't we do this sooner? Like you guys, for example, everybody had jobs and they were doing, etc. And then you kind of stepped away and you made this big change, and you're such an inspiration to people. But it'd be great to see different ways of living in Mexico, and what people are doing to embrace different ways of life, and show how different it is. Because we're not that different, really, are we? We kind of kid ourselves just because we're in a different parts of the world, and we might look different, we might speak differently, we might have different languages, different customs, different cultures. Ultimately, as humans, we all have very similar traits, don't we? And we all want to feel loved, and we all want to feel valued, and we all want to we all get joy from being compassionate and connecting with different people. So yeah, that would be really nice to see someone that's lived a really different life from the traditional lifestyles that we've, you know, accustomed ourselves to in the Western world, and see how that and how they look.
So that's the end of the interview. Thank you so much for being on Conversations to Inspire.
Thank you very much. And you're amazing. Thank you for being such an inspiration on a daily basis, all three of you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mani, for being on Conversations to Inspire. And I hope you guys at home enjoyed watching. Conversations to Inspire comes out in a week's time, so don't forget to go and check that out. And also, don't forget to check out my newest video. I have a challenge for you to see my challenge for you guys.